And it's a great honor to open this webinar dedicated to the Marie Sklodowska-Curie program as a tool for bilateral cooperation between France and Brazil. I'm Marie-Pierre Massian. I work for the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Space as Policy Officer for South America in the Delegation of European and International Affairs. I'm here with Eugenia Shadlova, National Contact Point and Program Committee Representative, MSC, and we organized this webinar with Flavia Cerqueira, Advisor for International Cooperation and National Contact Point MSC at RONFAP. Today we are bringing together experts, researchers, and institutional partners to explore how the MSc program can further strengthen our scientific ties and foster new opportunities for collaboration. We would also like to introduce you to other programs and provide you with context to help strengthening our cooperation. I would like to say a few words about our Franco-Brazilian scientific and academic cooperation. This cooperation forms part of the France Brésil roadmap signed by our two presidents, which identifies research and higher education as shared priorities. In 2024, in collaboration with the Brazilian Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, we organized a joint strategic committee for science, technology and innovation, the so-called COMIX, which took place in Manaus on 20 September of 2024. On this occasion, the two ministries reaffirmed the importance of our bilateral cooperation covering various priority areas, which Eric Bourland will present soon. Furthermore, over the last few years, we have seen a remarkable intensification of our collaboration, numerous framework agreements signed between France and Brazilian universities, the development of joint research projects, the establishment of joint laboratories, and the promotion of student and staff mobility. This momentum is driven by the research organization and university of our two countries, of which you are the representatives here today. We would also like to highlight the European dimension of the cooperation. France and Brazil are actively involved in the dialogue between the European Union and the CELAC. CELAC is the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, with a joint scientific roadmap that was signed in Brussels at the end of September 2025. The international dimension of the Horizon Europe scientific program offers as well potential supports for the development of our cooperation, particularly through the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions. I will now briefly present the schedule for our session. We will be here together until 4:45 p.m. in France and 12:45 p.m. in Brazil. I'd like to thank our colleagues for their presence and their commitment. So for the program, the first part, I will give the floor afterwards to Flavia Cerqueira, Pedro from the Brazilian embassy in France. Eric Bourland will present us the French embassy initiatives to support scientific cooperation. We will have a special time about the COFECU program with CAPES and USP, representative of CAPES and USP, and the French chair of the COFECU committee. Presentation of the MSc program with Eugenia and Flavia. And we will have a testimonial from an MSc award winner with Professor Mr. Ishu from Central Lyon. And we will end with Charlotte Gravitz who's regional coordinator for Euraccess LAC. And she will present the Euraccess platform and how to find our institution. And we will try to keep some time for your questions, and we will try to answer the questions. Now, I will give the floor to Flavia for a few words, introducing a word from CONFAP. Flavia, thanks very much.
Thank you, Marie-Pierre. Thank you, Eugenia, for the invitation. I would like to welcome all the participants and also the panelists for this important occasion for cooperation between Brazil and France, especially in the scope of the Marie Skłodowska actions. CONFAP stands for the National Council for State Fund Agencies. The funding for research in Brazil stands in two levels. In the federal level, we have the CNPq, CAPES, and FINEP. CNPq is linked to the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation, which supports mainly research projects. FINEP is also linked to the Ministry of Science, Technology, and Innovation, who supports the innovation project. And CAPES is connected to the Ministry of Education. Its activity is more related to capacity building for professors. In the state level, each Brazilian state has one state fund agency that known as FAPES. In my presentation, you will hear a little more about them. And they also support the research project and capacity building projects in their states. In the federal level, they are congregate in the CONFAP. And CONFAP has a lot of international partners, for example, in France and UK, Belgium, Spain, Australia. We also participate in some activities in the scope of European Union, fostering the participation of Brazilians research in the projects. That's why I am the NCP in Brazil for the activities in the scope of Marie Skłodowska actions, and soon I will present more about staff exchange. Welcome. Thank you.
And now we'll give the floor to Pedro from the Brazilian Embassy. Thanks very much, Flavia.
Yes. Thank you. Merci, Marie-Pierre. Bom dia a todas e todos. Bonjour. Good morning. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, dear researchers and students. It's a pleasure to open this webinar that's dedicated to the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, the MSCA, and their role in strengthening scientific cooperation between France and Brazil. I'd like to thank our partners from the French Minister of Higher Education, the MESR, the Research and Space, the CONFAP, CAPES, Campus France, and all the institutions and colleagues who made the webinar possible. The academic and scientific cooperation lies at the heart of the strategic partnership between Brazil and France, as was already mentioned by Marie-Pierre in the introduction. It was highlighted in the new action plan for our strategic partnership that was signed by our presidents back in 2024. And Brazil and France have committed to pursuing an ambitious agenda in higher education, in research and innovation. This cooperation is driven by clear, concrete goals. We have the objective to reach 8,000 Brazilian students in France and 1,000 French students in Brazil by strengthening supervised mobility schemes and programs and expanding opportunities in both directions. Those exchanges are not just about numbers, but they are also building bridges, intellectual bridges, fostering mutual understanding, shaping a new generation of researchers with truly global perspectives. It's important to mention that the internationalization of Brazilian universities ranks among the top strategic priorities for our higher education policy. So in this context, it's important to highlight what the government has been doing, especially what the CAPES has been doing through the CAPES Global program that was recently launched, and which plays already a very central role in Brazil's international academic mobility strategy. CAPES Global consolidates and expands Brazil's international scholarship policy, promoting the internationalization of Brazilian higher education and research. And it's also important to stress that France stands out already as one of the leading destinations for CAPES international scholarship holders, which reflects, I think, the long-standing, the trusted, highly structured tradition of academic cooperation between the two countries. This position is the result of decades of successful collaboration, of shared academic values, robust institutional frameworks, such as the programs we are discussing today. Our bilateral cooperation spans already a very impressive range of fields, from health, agriculture, engineering, sustainable development, climate change, artificial intelligence, marine sciences, open science, humanities, social sciences, and so forth. We give a special attention to the Amazon region, where scientific collaboration contributes both to the global knowledge and also to the protection of one of the world's most vital ecosystem. In this context, we also like to highlight the decision taken by both presidents to reactivate the Franco-Brazilian Center for Amazonian Biodiversity, CFBBA, which is particularly meaningful. This center promotes exchanges among researchers, professors, students. It reinforces joint collaboration on biodiversity and climate change, all areas where scientific knowledge is inseparable from our collective responsibility to future generations. Those institutional frameworks, those programs continue to play a decisive role in the ecosystem of bilateral collaboration. We, of course, have to mention the most traditional programs such as CAPES Coffee Cube, Brafitech, Brafagri, but also the direct agreements between universities, co-tutel agreements, double degree programs, which also have long demonstrated their effectiveness in fostering high-level institutional partnerships. We are committed not only to strengthening those existing mechanisms, but also to exploring new mobility programs focused on sustainable development, climate action, and other fields. Science, technology, and innovation are also a pillar of the bilateral partnership. Brazil and France share a long tradition of cooperation in mathematics, biological sciences, public health, aerospace, agricultural technologies, and so building on this legacy, the countries have agreed to launch new research programs supported by coordinated calls from the Brazilian CNPq and the French ANR, both countries' funding agencies, under the guidance of the COMIX, the Joint Strategic Committee that Marie-Pierre already mentioned. Within this broad existing ecosystem for bilateral mobility, I think the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions also represent an important instrument to further help us reach our mutual goals for strengthening student mobility. The actions enable researchers to move across borders and integrate Brazil into a truly European and global research space. So I think that's one of the main advantages of that tool in particular. The MSCA perfectly complement our bilateral instruments and promote mobility and long-term collaboration. I think today's webinar offers a very valuable opportunity for everyone to better understand how the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions can serve as a catalyst for this bilateral cooperation, and how researchers and institutions on both sides can benefit from the next calls. I encourage everyone to engage, to ask questions, to explore the possibilities of the program. And to finish, I'd like to reaffirm the commitment of Brazil and of the Brazilian Embassy here in Paris to deepening the scientific partnership with France. We share already a very long tradition, and we can ensure that cooperation continues to generate knowledge innovation. I'd like to thank again everyone for organizing and for the invitation, and wishing everyone an excellent and inspiring webinar ahead. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pedro, for your presentation. And now we will give the floor to Eric Bourlon from the French Embassy.
Good morning to you all in Brazil, and good afternoon obviously in France. I'm very pleased to be part of this presentation. I would like to thank the organizers and obviously the attendees. The number of people present here for the webinar says it all about our cooperation, the magnitude of it, and the interest of our authorities, institutions, and people to be part of this French-Brazilian cooperation. Here it is. Over the past years, we've witnessed a real increase in our cooperation. Historically, it's been really dense, but for the 2-3 past years, we've seen through the relationship between our governments, ministries, agencies, and first of all your institution, from higher education and research, a density of opportunities, of relationship, of projects, of dialogue that fosters this cooperation. I will focus my presentation on what we do at the embassy and who does what in order for you to identify the people that you can address for such or such topic, knowing that aside from what we do, there are a lot of initiatives, of realities. We only are a part of the puzzle. Like in Camp France, we have nearly 2,000 agreements for the diploma, for exchange, registered, and of course, I will not tackle this issue since we are not in charge per se of this part.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon in Paris and good morning in Brazil. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation to participate in this event. It's a pleasure to be here today representing CAPES and to speak about CAPES COFECUB program. A partnership that truly reflects the strength and continuity of cooperation between Brazil and France. Please, next slide, please.
I try.
Okay.
That's okay, normally.
Thank you. Looking back at our history, we are celebrating nearly half a century of partnership. Established in 1978 by the Brazilian and French governments, this program is now approaching its 50th anniversary. Over the decades, it has evolved into a cornerstone of scientific cooperation, a remarkably solid and well-established instrument for both nations. Okay. At its core, CAPES COFECUB aims to bring institutions and researchers together. It supports joint research projects between universities and research centers in Brazil and France, always with a strong focus on excellence and on building long-term academic relationships. One of the key reasons for its success is its binational structure. The program is jointly managed by CAPES on the Brazilian side and by COFECUB on the French side, with support from the relevant ministries in both countries. This shared governance has been essential to ensuring continuity, balance, and mutual trust. Another important aspect is who the program is designed for. CAPES COFECUB supports both experienced researchers and early career researchers. And next slide, please. Yes? Yes. This combination is particularly valuable because it allows us to maintain strong, well-established partnerships while also creating space for a new generation of scientists to engage in international collaboration. At the same time, PhD students are at the heart of the program. By integrating doctoral training into research projects, CAPES COFECUB contributes directly to the development of highly qualified human resources in both countries. When it comes to selection, excellence is the key principle. Projects are evaluated based on the quality of the research and the strength of the teams involved. The program is open to all scientific fields. But beyond excellence, there are other important dimensions that we actually encourage. For example, we give special attention to projects that foster new collaborations, especially between teams that have not worked together before. We also value initiatives that strengthen academic networks and promote more structured and long-term cooperation. In addition, the program encourages connections beyond academia, particularly partnerships with the socio-economic sector, as well as projects that promote innovation and the transfer of knowledge and skills. In this sense, CAPES COFECUB is not only about producing excellent research, but also building ecosystems of collaboration with broader impact. And this is exactly what makes the program so relevant today, in a context where global challenges require
That's okay for all?
My microphone was closed, sorry.
Okay, no problem.
My God.
Well, so that's okay for you, Ide?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
So, no, that's okay, perfect. So, some words to complete, and nice to meet you all together today. And the program CAPES COFECUB, like you speak, COFECUB provides funding for project-related travel by experienced researchers. It also covers living expense for doctoral research trips, lasting 2 months for French doctoral students. On the Brazilian side, CAPES covers travel and living expenses for Brazilian researchers traveling to France. It may also award up to 2 grants per year for sandwich, doctoral stays, postdoctoral stays, research stays for early career researchers, and research stays also for established faculty researchers, covering travel, health insurance, and living expenses for Brazilian participants. On the French side, COFECUB covers travel expenses and living expenses for French researchers traveling to Brazil. It may also award living allowances for a period of 2 months for doctoral students traveling to Brazil. And it's a notable contribution to the field of research. Over 1,000 research projects and over 3,500 doctoral theses. Today, between 2015 and 2026, CAPES COFECUBE funded 327 projects. And we have today 138 CAPES COFECUBE projects underway, including 39 new projects selected for the period 2026-2029 during the last call for proposal, and it was launched in 2025. The program is very selective, but it's very important to add that it's not difficult to obtain a CAPES COFECUBE, but it's very selective. You have there the datas, and we are around 20% of each project each year, and each year we said some help to organize a new presentation on the next year. When candidates are equally qualified, special consideration is given to regional balance in Brazil and France, diversity across scientific fields, and gender parity, but it's only when it's equally qualified. You have then you can see one map of CAPES COFECUBE for last period, and we intend from France and from Brazil to have more universities, more disciplines in both sides. For me, that's okay. Marie-Pierre?
Yes.
So you will receive after this PowerPoint, so we don't need to explain all.
Okay. And for USP?
I don't know if the colleague is connected. You can see it?
Yes, I'm here.
Your number?
Yes.
So that's perfect.
Oh, perfect.
You can begin.
Fernando, it's your turn. Thanks very much, Denis and Ide.
Yes, thank you very much. I think my job is now facilitated because the main idea is already presented concerning COFECUBE. But the USP COFECUBE is a kind of a spin-off of this very successful program when in 1994 the partners decided to share the efforts from Brazilian side, concentrating some initiatives coming from researchers from the University of São Paulo in a special administration of this partnership from the University of São Paulo. So it's practically the same structure, and we have concentrated this administration in USP's international office. We call, I tell you, Brazilian colleagues listening to us, AUCANI, Agência USP de Cooperação Acadêmica Nacional e Internacional. So if ever you are listening and interested in this program, and you are researchers from the University of São Paulo, professors or PhD students, you should be attentive to the publications and the informations released by our AUCANI. That administrates this partnership. And the basic idea, as I have said in the beginning is quite the same. It's mobility for researchers, I mean, professors or researchers from university and PhD students. Well, yes. So I was just mentioning what is indicated in the first topic of this new slide, and concerning evaluation criteria, we look especially in the excellence of research projects and teams, and impact on the training of young researchers. It's indeed something focused on young researchers that are doing their doctoral studies. Open to all topics, and there's no criteria of preference concerning the subject of the project. And our figures all over these years show a very good of selected projects in all areas of knowledge. So I would comment to end my short presentation. Special attention I would call you to these 3 points you are reading in this slide. Fostering the development of new collaborations and networking between teams, encouraging socio-economic partnerships, and promoting innovation and transfer of knowledge and skills. Dennis, if I'm not mistaken, this is, oh yes, that financial part, as you can read from this slide, COFECUBE would finance projects for 2-year term with one possibility of renewal that depends on the evaluation of both sides of the committee. Party may fund up to 2 missions per year, up to 4 missions during the first 2 years of the project. Up to 3 missions for faculty members and at least 1 mission for doctoral studies. On the Brazilian side, USP would cover travel expenses of 1 Brazilian researcher and 1 Brazilian doctoral student, as well as the living expenses of French researchers here in São Paulo for a period from 10 up to 15 days. On the French side, COFECUBE would cover similarly with the criteria of cost of living in France. We can change. That's the figures that shows, as well as in the case of CAPES COFECUBE, a very successful initiative. As you can read in this last slide, it's very strong cooperation that, besides helping substantially these specific projects, is a fundamental way of creating new networks that opens possibilities of other kind of research and interactions after this maybe first initiative coming from the USP COFECUBE partnership. You have some concrete indications, scheduled timeline, so to be aware of when to pay attention for new calls, and our contacts.
Okay, Thank you very much, Dimanando.
Thanks very much for
Marie-Pierre.
thanks very much for the presentation of different COFECUBE programs with CAPES and with USP. We will go on with Eric, if he's with us, if he can share his presentation this time, if it's okay. Maybe Patrick will do it.
I don't know if Eric is with us, but I can do.
Okay, Patrick, go on. So, but you have just 7 minutes to do the presentation. Okay, it's okay with you? Thanks very much.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
So it's about I'm sorry, but Eric seems to have difficulties. But it's about the organization of France in Brazil. This slide, and France, the embassy of France is Campus France in Brazil. Campus France have some office in Brasilia, in Recife, Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, and Belo Horizonte. And more than that, there are cooperation service, which is managed by Sophie Jaquel and in Brasilia, and Vincent is working in Rio, Marion in São Paulo, Eric in São Paulo também, also, desculpa, sorry, and I am working in Belo Horizonte, BH in Minas Gerais. And we have also one conseiller in more for culture in Recife, and volunteers in Brasilia and São Paulo. So this is about Campus France and French Embassy, and our activities, are in order to help the cooperation between French and Brazilian universities, to help students to go in France, and also to help researchers to start to develop a cooperation with French research teams in universities. We have many research grants, bursary program, and there are also other institution. We are working in Brazil. CNRS has many laboratory in common with Brazilian universities. INRAE and CIRAD are working on agronomy. ERD it's about development, and Institut Pasteur is working mainly with La Fiocruz, and Institut des Amériques is more about human sciences. So I said we have many bursary program. 3 programs are maybe 4 are strictly about the relation between France and Brazil. It is Guata, thank you, original populations of Brazil. Master 2, it's Enterré, are 2 programs, and Guata também, also proposed by the French embassy. And EFL, it's an international program, but Brazilian students are the most selected students selected student by France in the world. So we have CAPES COFECUBE and USP COFECUBE, now 2 special programs, Brafitech and Brafagri, special for graduation programs, especially Brafitech for engineer, and Brafagri, it's about agronomy and veterinary science. And we have also other kind of program, but this Brafitech is I think Brafitech is about 400 students each year it's a very huge program, and it worked very well. And for this program, Brafagri and Brafitech, very often students are going double diploma with France. They are studying 1 year and a half or 2 years in France, and then they will obtain the French diploma, and when they can come back here, the Brazilian diploma at the same time. So there is I think a new, not so new but not so old, new Franco-Brazilian laboratory. It's located in the Amazonia region. The name of it is CFBBA, Centre Français de la Biodiversité Amazonienne. Franco-Brazilian de la biodiversité amazonienne. It is managed by Nadège Mézier, and there is also a work in collaboration with Guyana, the French Guyane, la Guyane française. And there are also programs in between France and Brazil. For instance, the ANR CNPQ program call in this year, and some thematic we would like to prioritize about biodiversity, mathematics, STEM in general, and also cultural heritage, law, and inequalities. I think there is another one. So yeah, we have also chair programs. In the name in Brazilian is Catedras. We have many chair programs with in relation between embassy, French embassy, and Brazilian university or FAP Foundation, and especially in the northeast part of Brazil, in Rio, São Paulo, and Minas Gerais. Alumni network exists also. We are trying to desenvolve it, and maybe later, if you have a question, you can send them to Eric Bourlan. I don't know if he will succeed to connect, but in the future you can contact him. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks, Patrick, for this presentation of the French Embassy's actions and about the cooperation between France and Brazil. Now we'll give the floor to Eugenia. Are you with us? And Flavia afterward.
Hello, bom dia a todos. Bonjour. I'm the national contact point for marine security actions in France, and with my colleague Flavia Cerqueira from Brazil, we will present you the marine security actions program, and in particular its parts that present the most of opportunities for scientific cooperation between our two countries. So, first of all, here just as an introduction, some ideas, some opportunities that I see for French-Brazilian cooperation in the frame of the MSC program. So this program may help to develop joint research projects through the mobility of postdoctoral researchers, and we will explain you how. This program can help creating common doctoral and postdoctoral training programs in areas that are strategic for our both countries. Can help also to put in place joint and double doctoral degrees, and we will also explain you how to do it. Encourage two-ways researchers' mobility and transfer of knowledge. It represents also both the benefits for organizations that participate to this project, but also to doctoral candidates who are recruited in the frame of those projects, because they have this international exposure and the possibility to do their PhD thesis in two different countries. This program also helps to put in place attractive actions to train top-level young specialists and to offer training in both research-related skills and transferable skills for innovation and long-term employability of the researchers. And finally, it helps to enhance the cooperation and knowledge transfer between the institutions. So many reasons to participate to it. And now, just a few words about the MSc program in general. It is part of the Horizon Europe program, which is the main EU framework program for research and innovation, and it is a part of its Pillar 1, Excellent Science. Some key features of the MSc program, which are also the key of its success. First, it is a bottom-up program, meaning that there is no any defined or strategic thematic areas. You are absolutely free to choose your research topic in any area you want. Another feature of this program is that of course, it supports research, but also training and skills and career development of the researchers. So the researchers will be at the heart of this program. This program has a very important international dimension. Thanks to different statuses of partners in the MSc projects and the possibility to have international secondments for researchers, it helps actually to have projects not only with European countries, but also from countries that are not EU members, like Brazil. And so this is what actually we also wanted to show today, that there are many opportunities offered to for the cooperation with countries that are not members of the European Union. So this program is attached to offer attractive working and employment conditions for the researchers, and to promote these favorable working and employment conditions by structuring the fact that it aims to have on the organizations. And finally, it also encourages cooperation between the academic sector and non-academic sector, which will include, of course, industry and SMEs, but also NGOs, public administrations, and other non-academic institutions that can also participate in the MSc project. So it's not only for universities and research organizations. So here is a little zoom on academic and non-academic sector. So the academic sector will mean higher education institutions, research organizations, and international European interest organizations. And all other organizations will be defined as non-academic sector, and they are also very, very welcome to participate, so they can be beneficiaries and partners of the MSc projects. So now a little zoom on different eligible countries. So there are 27 EU member states, associated countries, which are the countries that signed the association agreement with the European Commission for Horizon Europe. And there are also third countries, meaning the countries that do not belong to the two first categories. And in third countries, we distinguish two categories: high-income countries and low and middle-income third countries. So Brazil is considered as high-income non-EU countries, so meaning that Brazilian entities cannot directly receive funding from the European Commission, but yet, even if they do not directly receive funding, there are many different ways for them to participate and to also to get indirectly the funding and benefits from this program, and we will explain you how. So, and finally, to finish this introduction, the program is bottom-up, but projects are evaluated in 8 scientific panels. They're evaluated by peers. And so you see here those 8 panels: chemistry, physics, life sciences, economic sciences, social sciences, mathematics, environmental sciences, and engineering sciences. And of course, if your project is interdisciplinary, it may be concerned by 2 panels, and in this case, you will be able to select one main panel and one secondary panel. So, The program includes 5 different actions, and today we will present you 3 of those actions. So doctoral networks, postdoctoral fellowships, and staff exchanges. So I will tell you about doctoral networks and postdoctoral fellowships, and my colleague Flavia from Brazil will tell you about staff exchanges. So let's start. Doctoral networks. So doctoral networks are multi-beneficiary actions aiming to set up doctoral training programs, international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary in a frame of a common research and innovation project. So there are 3 implementation modes: a regular doctoral network, where a cohort of doctoral students will be recruited and trained in academia or industry. Joint doctorates, which will lead to delivery of joint or double doctoral degrees to doctoral students, and industrial doctorates, which suppose an important involvement of non-academic actors, and so it might be interesting in case if your project has an important industrial dimension. And actually, our award winner, Mohamed Ishu, who will talk a little bit later today, who provide testimony, is a laureate of this kind of scheme, in that his project is an industrial doctoral network. So, and in the consortium, you have 2 types of partners. You have beneficiaries and associated partners. And what is important to retain, that beneficiaries will recruit doctoral students, and associated partners will participate to the program. They will not recruit students directly, but they will be able to host them for secondments. Secondments meaning a research stay when a student is recruited by the beneficiary and spends an important part of their contract at the premises of another project partner. And so, for example, typically here European partners may participate as beneficiaries, and Brazilian partners may participate as associated partners and host one or several doctoral students recruited by European partners for secondments, and co-supervise them, and even provide joint degrees if you decide to do so. Eligible, just to go back to my previous slide, the project here is submitted by a consortium composed of minimum 3 beneficiaries located in 3 different countries, and also associated partners that may be as many as necessary, who participate to the project. And so you submit a collaborative research and innovation project with already predefined topics for PhD thesis. And if your project is retained for funding, then you will recruit a cohort of maximum 15 doctoral students who may be of any nationality, and to be recruited in the frame of a doctoral network project, they must respect the mobility rule, which you can see here, not have resided or carried out their main activity in the country of the recruiting beneficiary for more than 12 months in the 36 months immediately before their recruitment date. So this rule is to encourage the mobility of those young researchers, but the nationality is not the criteria. So meaning that someone who got their master's degree abroad can be recruited in their home country for this doctoral network project. And so if you are among people connected today, if some of you are doctoral candidates and you are interested to participate in doctoral, this kind of doctoral network project and get funding for your PhD thesis, we encourage you to get connected to the Euraccess platform, and because all doctoral positions are published on the Euraccess platform, and my colleague Charles will present this platform to you later today. So, as I already mentioned, what provides this important international dimension to doctoral networks and to many of MSC projects is this possibility to have secondments worldwide, meaning that a researcher recruited by an organization in Europe can spend up to a half of their working time in different organizations that may be located in any country, including the third countries. Sorry, I don't know why my screen sharing stopped. I will share it again.
It's okay. It's working.
Okay, it's working. Yeah. You see my presentation?
Yes.
All right. Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
So, great. So, and here, a very important part, it is what is funded. So, these projects will, the funding covers fully the salaries of the recruited doctoral students. So, for one project, you can recruit up to 15 doctoral students, so 540 person months. And you see here in this table, the columns on the left corresponding to the researcher. This is what will constitute the researcher's salary. And the two columns on the right constitute the institutional costs. This is what every organization will get to make the project function, so to cover research, training, networking, and management costs by months by recruited researchers. So, for example, if your organization is partner of a doctoral network project and you recruit 2 researchers for 36 months each, you must multiply each of those amounted by 72 to get the idea of what you will get as a funding. And if you are in Brazil and you are an associated partner, you will not get this funding directly from the European Commission, but you may negotiate with your European partners to get a part of institutional costs corresponding to the person months of the secondment of the duration, the months of the duration of the secondment of the students that you will host. And while the researchers, they are recruited by European partners and they get their salary from the European partners. All right, and now I will move to the second action that I wanted to present you today before to let the floor to my colleague Flavia. This second action is postdoctoral fellowship. So this is quite a different action because it is a mono-beneficiary action. To apply to this action, you need to have minimum one host institution and one postdoctoral researcher. So, and here you have 2 different schemes. So they are European fellowships and global fellowships. So typically, in the framework of cooperation between an organization in France and in Brazil, for European fellowships, provide an opportunity to a Brazilian postdoctoral researcher to apply with a French organization, and the project will last between 12 and 24 months with fully funded salary and institutional costs. While global fellowships will give a possibility to a French postdoctoral researcher to go to Brazil for a period up to 24 months, and then with a mandatory return phase in France. So here you have these schemes, these 2 schemes presented with some images, and the mobility rule will also apply here to the researcher. So for the European fellowship scheme, the mobility rule will apply to the host institution based in a European country, and for global fellowships, this mobility rule will apply to the third country of the outgoing phase of the project. So typically, a French postdoctoral researcher who will go to Brazil must respect this rule for Brazil, and the Brazilian researcher must respect this mobility rule for France. And finally, here, just to sum up, so which researchers are eligible? To be eligible, a researcher must have successfully defended a PhD at the call deadline or before the call deadline, and have less than 8 years of research experience after the PhD. And the researcher may be of any nationality. However, there is a restriction for global fellowships. So for global fellowships, if the researcher is not a European, they must have resided at least 5 consecutive years in Europe before applying. So the researcher must be either EU national or long-term resident. But this is only for global fellowship. For European fellowship, there is no such restriction. There are organizations that are eligible to host postdoctoral fellowships, maybe from academic and non-academic sector. So it can be, of course, universities, research organizations, but also companies, SMEs, museums, hospitals, or international organizations. And you have also here this possibility to have secondments worldwide, meaning that even if you apply for a European fellowship scheme in France, and you come from Brazil, you can, for example, plan a research period in Brazil. So from these 24 months of your project, you can spend up to 12 months, actually, in Brazil or in any other country or any other host institution. And finally, there is also a possibility to have what is called by the MSC language placement, non-academic placement. It is a possibility to have 5 additional months funded within your project that you as a postdoctoral researcher will spend in the non-academic sector. So typically, if your project has some interesting industrial application or can benefit from the collaboration with non-academic sector, you can add these 6 months at the end of this project, and your salary will be funded in the same way that during the project, as well as institutional costs. So here again, you have the funding, so the salary is fully covered, and also institutional costs. Just please be aware that this salary will correspond to the gross salary, including both employer and employees' charges, and the living allowance will be multiplied by the country correction coefficient to adapt it to the living standards in the country where you apply. So now a few words about how to apply. So all call for proposals are published on the funding and tenders portal. So you have the direct link from here. We strongly advise you to read different call documents such as guide for applicants and the MSc work program. And then to apply, you need to go to the start submission and register your proposal. Then you will have to fill in the administrative part A. And so if you apply to postdoctoral fellowships, there is a research project, maximum 10 pages. And if you apply for doctoral networks or staff exchanges that my colleague Flavia will present you, it will be a bit bigger. Project will be up to 34 pages in total. And then when your project is ready, you upload it on the portal and submit it before the call deadline. So here you have the call calendar for PF as postdoctoral fellowships, DN as doctoral networks for both 2026 and 2027. So usually it follows the same calendar every year. And finally, here you have the contacts of the national contact points from France and from Brazil, and some useful links. Okay, I stop sharing my screen. Do you have any questions?
Sorry, is it possible to go back to your previous slide just to take the
information
name of the people? Yes, information. That's
engineer.
Sure, but you will get the slides anyway.
Okay, thank you.
the contact. I mean, yeah, thank you.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay, and we will share all the presentation after the webinar.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, may we have to go on with Flavia, and afterward with Mr. Ishu and Charlotte. So we don't have a lot of time. So, but Flavia, if you want to start.
Thank you.
Could I just ask a question about the 8th year after the PhD? What happens with family leave or unemployment time? Does it count on the 8 years?
No, you can withdraw it from this period. For example, for maternity leave, you have 18 months by woman, so that it allows you to have a larger eligibility window.
8 months.
18.
18. Okay. And what about unemployment? Does it
Unemployment
count?
will not count. Actually, you need to count only full-time research experience.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry, Flavia. I think we need to give the floor to Mr. Ishui as a lecturer at 4:30. So it's in the hurry. If it's possible for you to do your presentation now.
Thanks a lot, and sorry, Marie-Pierre. Thanks a lot. Can I share my slide with you? I mean, well, I will just try to have a sort of rough description of one initiative belonging to what was presented, I mean, a few minutes before. Do you see my slides?
Yes.
I mean, it's a Marie Curie funded project within what we call, I mean, industrial doctorate network. Means for that kind, I mean, of initiative, we should have academic partners and industrial partners, and the doctoral candidate to spend, I mean, half of the period each, let's say, part. And as said before, I mean, quite, I mean, correctly, we can have beneficiaries and we can have associated partners. And then for this one, USP is included, I mean, for different, I mean, tasks, different activities, hosting, I mean, candidates, giving lectures, providing research, etc., etc. Well, just would like to point out the fact that it is not the first time, I mean, Brazilian universities are connected to our project, because this is probably the third time from my research group or for my lab. Well, as a rule, we are, let's say, trying to evolve our colleagues with expertise which could be beneficial for the project highlight, for the project impact, etc., to the involvement. Well, practically speaking, I mean, I'll not give any detail about the technical character of the project, but this one is belonging to robotics. Robotics is something which is very, very strategic for all of, let's say, the social economic, I mean, world and the academic world as well, with, let's say, impact or with connection to artificial intelligence, etc., etc. And several, I mean, universities around the world are really evolving and investing, I mean, time and efforts inside. I mean, for this one, practically speaking, we have 10, more or less 10, I mean, partners, 3 main universities, let's say, hiring, I mean, the candidates, one from Germany, TU Darmstadt, one from France, École Centrale de Lyon, and one from Napoli. And we have a number of companies, let's say SMEs, not only SMEs, but we have large groups like ABB for supplying, I mean, robots, etc., from Sweden. We have companies from Poland, from Italy, etc., etc. And as I said before, we have also associated partners, one from Tunisia and the other one from Sao Paulo. And the project is evolving 9 ESR or 9 doctoral candidates. It just starting, I mean, few months before, because the kickoff was, I mean, the 1st of January, and the duration is 4 years, more or less 4 years. So the connection or the involvement of USP in this project specifically was through personal contact. I would like to clearly, I mean, highlight this aspect because it's not institutional. It's mostly belonging to the fact that we are in touch with colleagues, I mean, from Brazil, so we know that what they are. We know what they are doing. We know we are meeting them in conferences, etc., etc., and they do have expertise which should be, or it could be or benefit from the project. So USP is involved in this one, but in the past we had university from Rio de Janeiro. We had also Campinas, etc. It depends. On the main topic covered by the project and in the expertise which is needed in order to make the project stronger and more valuable. So I will stop here. If you have any question, please feel free to ask it.
Thanks very much for your presentation of a specific project with involving Brazil and France. Maybe Flavia, it's your turn now, if you can go on with your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Marie-Pierre. I will share my presentation. If I have difficult, I will ask for your help. 1 minute, please. So, I will present the activity, the staff exchange, one of the call for proposal in the scope of the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions. The main characteristic of this activity, it's open for all fields of knowledge and innovation. It's bottom-up approach, so it means that the research teams will decide which topic of the project. It can be a proposal from basic to apply research. It's important to have to be oriented to market and be also propose an innovative service. Strong encourage the participation of non-academic sector, especially industry and small medium enterprises, promoting academia industry collaboration. Mobility as key element, funding linked to exchange, fostering close research collaboration and knowledge transfer. International dimension.
Flavia, excuse me, many people say in the chat that they don't see the slides. If you want, I can try to share your slides.
Okay, we can work this way.
But we see.
Sorry.
I can see them.
Maybe they have to change the view mode, because I can see them also.
Yeah, it was working very nice.
For me also, we can see it.
Okay, so maybe then people who could not see the slides, you can try to disconnect and reconnect. Sometimes there is just might be some technical problem from your sides.
I think right after the button to react, there is a view button, affichage in French. And when we click there, we can see, we can choose if we want to see the people, if we want to see the slides. So maybe they should change that.
Okay, thank you very much for this explanation. So yes, can you please do so? And Flavia, so then you can continue with sharing the screen.
Okay, I will. 1 minute, please. Is it working well? Are you seeing my slides?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Now it's working.
Yeah.
From me at least.
So I can continue.
Yes,
Can I
please.
continue? So as I was telling that, I would say the last characteristic, that is the international dimension. So it looks for collaborative projects, and networking involves at least 3 countries. The objective is also connected to the main characteristics, which are international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary mobility of research and innovation staff, knowledge transfer among participating organizations, collaboration between the academic and non-academic sector, including small and medium enterprises, and international collaboration. 1 minute, please. Well, the expected results of the projects are, for the participants, are the transferable skills and competence, career development and employability, transforming ideas into products, process, and service, international exposure, networking and communication, and for the organizations are exchange of knowledge, collaborative networks, research development, and innovation capacity. The call for proposal, it offers exchange of research and innovation staff to develop a collaborative project and foster knowledge transfer. International networks of research organizations from the academic and non-academic sectors are eligible to submit a proposal. Regarding financial support, on the European side, research at all career states as well administrative and technical staff. Regarding the Brazilian side, depending on the funding modality, the relevant FAPs should be consulted. I will explain more the financial support later. The timeline of the call for proposal is, the call is open. It's open in December. It will close in April 16. The result is expected to be notified for the applicant in September, and in November is expected to sign the grant agreement of the success projects. In January next year is expected to the project start. In the new call for proposal, a new edition, it will be launched in the end of 2026. The indicative million of this activity is 9.792 million. It's the amount of the budget. One minute. Sorry, I will return. So the eligible activities of the project should promote complementary expertise among participants, activity of networking, organization of workshops and conferences to facilitate knowledge sharing, building the competence and supporting career development, and mobility to European Union member states or associated or countries associated with the Horizon Europe. An overview of the consortium. At least 3 entities from 3 different countries, 2 of them being European, it can be member states or associated countries. Participants from both sectors must be included, and entities from outside Europe may be included. There's 2 types of roles in the consortium, the beneficiary and the association partner. The beneficiary is a European Union member state or Horizon Europe associate country. The most participant in the second, they can host segments and can offer training and opportunities. Regarding association partners, they can receive seconds, they can offer training opportunity in a third country, and they can receive seconds. Low middle income countries. Only beneficiary receive the funding and sign the grant agreement. There is no typical consortium size. It's suggested from 3 to, it can be 3 to more than 20 organizations, but recommended 6 to 10. There is no like a magical formula. It has to be aligned with the project, always in line with the needs of the project, and a reasonable number of associate partners aligned with the size of the project. Regarding the segments, it can be made by any type of staff involved in the research development activity. It can be a researcher, administrative staff, management staff, technical staff. This personnel can be in any stage of the career, for example, from doctoral candidates to postdoctoral research. It has to be under the supervision of a host institution with adequate experience to successfully implement the proposed activity during the secondment. The secondment can be from 1 to 12 months, which may be divided in several periods or carry out at a multiple at multiple destinations. The person has to be full-time dedicated to the project during the secondment, and after the secondment, the reintegration to the home institution must be ensured. Regarding the Brazilian participants, it depends on the type of the modality used for the co-finance. I will explain a little more about the co-financing in a few slides, so it will be informed. So regarding the financial support for entities automatically eligible to receive the Horizon Europe funding, the budget is calculated based on the unit cost for each month of mobility of the staff involved. Staff unit cost, it means to cover expenses related to secondment level accommodation and subsistence cost. It's being 2,710 euros per month. For activities for research, training, networking, it be 1,300 euro a month. And there is management, which can be 100 euro a month, which costs the manageable costs of the consortium. They can also request a special needs allowance, which is for the staff member with disability whose long-term physical, mental, intellectual, sensory impairments are certified by a competent national authority, and such a nature of their participation in the action may not be possible in not acquisition of special needs items or service. The special needs items of service shall not be funded from another source, for example, Social Security or health insurance. The special needs allowances should be required when the need arises. We note the special needs allowance when we talk about the staff unit cost, research, training, networking, and management. A total cost unit is 5,010 euros per month to be multiplied by the total number of mobility months, maximum 306 per person, up to 5 years. Regarding the Brazilians, Brazilians are not eligible to request the support for the activities because Brazil is considered a country of high income. So for participating in the activities, they should be co-financed. It was signed an administrative arrangement among the European Commission, CONFAP, CNPq, and FINEP, which allows the Brazilian institution to establish mechanism for the co-financing. Then it's possible to request the co-finance from the Brazilian agents through existing mechanism or regular calls of the FAPs, for example. The counterpart can also be provided by other means, for example, in kind or from existing projects. Applicants should consult the fund agents to verify the availability to support the available support modality for the activities you want to forward participate in a consortium. This slide will be specific for the Brazilian researchers who are interested to participate in a consortium. So the CONFAP published a guide for the Brazilian researcher request the support from the following FAPs: Fundação Araucária from Paraná, FACEP from Pernambuco, FAPEAM Amazonas, FAPEG Goiás, FAPEPI Piauí, FAPERGS Rio Grande do Sul, FAPES Espírito Santo, FAPESB Bahia, FAPESC Paraíba, FAPESP São Paulo, FAPESPA Pará. These FAPs define the funding modalities and the level of the financial support allocated to the activity. And researchers from the states whose FAP have not yet confirmed their support may participate in proposal. They can participate in the proposal with their own funding. Regarding the rules of the CONFAP's guidelines, it's important for the Brazilian researcher. They must comply with the rules of the activity. They are advised to verify the eligibility of the participant FAPs in their states before the proposal submission deadline. They may participate in a proposal as associated partner. In proposal involve Brazilia's partner from more than one state must submit independently to the FAPs of all states involved in the proposals. The sections referred here is the guidelines available on the CONFAP's homepage. The assessment. The submitted proposal to the FAPs will follow the respective standard procedure for assessment and the selection of research proposal. The proposal will be funded by the involved FAP only if it is also selected for funding by the European Commission and European Research Executive Agency. The submission to the FAPs, it will be defined by the own institution. It can establish to has the same deadline as the staff exchange, call for proposal, or after the results are announced. This is the email to send the inquiries, and specific clarification regarding eligibility issues and additional rules for participation submissions should be addressed to the respective FAPs. This is the guidelines. This is the link for the guidelines of CONFAP. It's available in English and Portuguese, and there is a suggestion of a webinar which was organized by the Global and Euraccess, Global Project and Euraccess, which CONFAP is supported. Regarding the proposal, it has two parts. The first one is the administrative forms, which will be filled online. And the second one, there is two parts. The first part, it has to have 32 pages, and if it exceeds, they are not to be assessed. And the second part is unlimited, and it's related more the organizations who are participating in the of the consortium. About the assessment, it has three topics: excellence, which is 50% of the total, impact 30%, and quality and efficiency of implementation 20%. So proposal score equal or above 70% will be considered for funding. When we are thinking about excellence, it's important for the candidate to describe the added value of the proposal, emphasize the original and innovative aspects, include information about sharing and transfer among the partners of knowledge sharing and transfer among the parties, and it should be highlighted three aspects: international, multidisciplinary, and intersectoral aspect of the proposal has to be evident. About the impact, it should be clear how the impact will be for researchers, beneficiary, European levels, and other institutions. How the results will be disseminated. How the project will provide opportunities for individuals to acquire new skills, knowledge, and expertise which can support advance the career. And it's important to emphasize in the intellectual property about the implementation. It should have a coherent plans to monitor the progress, the project progress, and to mitigate the risk. It should be very clear the parameters of the work objectives aimed to achieve and the project overall management. Outline the strong points of each partners, for example, the facilities, the significant partnership, the good record, relevant record of research field, and should pay attention of your Gantt chart. The project deliverables and milestones should be clear. The main documents are guidelines of applicants, work and program and annex, proposal templates, online manual on how to submit application, frequent asked questions, and model grant agreement. There is a project which is Radiance, and it's a project to facilitate the cooperation among the MCPs and also to harmonize the knowledge of the activities among them. And it can be useful for the candidates for 3 aspects: a matchmaking platform, and also has the matchmaking platform supported by Eurax, which Charlotte will explain later. You can have the contacts of the MCPs. And you also have a material regarding the call for proposals, which can be useful for elaborating yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Flavia, for this presentation. Sorry, I'm going to cut your mic to avoid the echo. Okay, thank you very much for this very detailed presentation of staff exchanges. And so now we are a little bit late, so we will still keep the questions and answer session at the end of this webinar. And now I will give the floor to Charlotte Gravitz, who will present you the Euraccess platform, which allows to find the positions in already funded projects, but also to publish the expressions of interest to host postdoctoral fellows. Charlotte, the floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you, Eugenia. So if you cannot see my slide, I'll share the link on the chat so you can download the presentation and everybody should be fine. The objective of my presentation is to show how Euraccess can support MSCA candidates depending on the action. So I will show you. This is because I represent Euraccess, which is a European Commission initiative that is meant to support researchers' mobility and scientific cooperation. I am based in Brazil, covering the south of the LAC continent. I have another colleague based in Bogota, covering the north of the continent. So I speak Portuguese, I speak French, and I am at your disposal if you need help to support you establishing those links through the program. Euraccess, as I told you, is a European Commission initiative. It's a portal that you can see on your screen that has 4 main pillars. The first one is Euraccess Jobs and Opportunity to find jobs, hosting offers, and funding when a researcher wants to do mobility in Europe, but also when institutions want to recruit international researchers. Euraccess, second pillar is Euraccess Living and Working in Europe with tools and tips for researchers for researchers to organize their trip to France or to relocation to any European countries. Euraccess Career Development to find tools to develop your career. Euraccess Worldwide, which is the international arm of Euraccess that are representing Latin America and make bridges between the continent and Europe. So Euraccess offers tools for all Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, and I will give you a very quick overview now. The first one is when a researcher is looking for a MSCA-funded PhD or postdoc in France or everywhere in Europe, they have to find these positions published on the Euraccess jobs portal. All the positions funded by Marie Skłodowska-Curie project are available on the project. On the platform, sorry, so people can search for the country, filter by country, by level of experience, either if they already have a PhD or not, and they can select among all the positions that are published on the Euraccess jobs portal, only those funded by Marie Skłodowska-Curie. And here you have an example of a PhD and here a postdoc that are both in France and in both cases funded by Marie Skłodowska-Curie. So this is the easiest part. I've just had a look now and I found 236 PhD and postdoc positions funded by Marie Curie in France. So many opportunities. Then people click and apply to the institution that will recruit them. Okay. For the postdoc opportunities, researchers interested in a postdoc in France can look at Euraccess LAC website, and we have a dedicated page to explain again how the call work, what are the eligibility criteria, and what you need, etc., etc. So we produced videos in Portuguese for the criteria of eligibility criteria, or how much will you make if you do a postdoc funded by Marie Curie in France or anywhere in Europe, and everything is available on Euraccess LAC website and YouTube channel. Candidates can also look for an institution because they need an institution to apply to the call, and this is where we gather all the information open to Latin American researchers, among them from Europe, and some hosting offers from institutions are published on the Euraccess jobs portal, as you can see in your screen. So candidates can find an institution among all the institutions in France that can host them. Some of them expressed their interest to receive Brazilian and Latin American researchers, and they will appear here. Now, from the institution point of view, if you are an institution based in Brazil, you can also host Europe-based researchers to do their postdoc in your institution, and it will be wonderful for your internationalization. So how can you do that? First, getting acquainted with the call, knowing how it works, it's important. So you can read everything on your Euraccess LAC website, but you can also express your interest in hosting researchers to appear in this hosting database that I've shown you from the other point of view, from the researcher's point of view. So it's free, it's easy, you only need to register on the Euraccess job portal, and then you can publish your expression of interest. We dedicated also a news on our website to explain why hosting visiting researchers funded by the Marie Skłodowska-Curie actions, also interviews with researchers that did the same in Brazil and hosted visiting researchers, and a guide for you to publish your hosting offer step by step. Okay, in my slides you'll have more information, links to more interviews and dedicated pages for each of the action. But the last point I wanted to tell you is, you know that if you want to submit a proposal either to the doctoral networks or the staff exchanges, you need partners because you're going to be part of a consortium. So if you don't have many partners yet, you can use several tools. One of them is the Euraccess partnering, where institutions express their interest in collaborating with other institutions to submit a proposal. When they look for partners, for example, in Brazil, they can use this platform. So it's a possibility for you to find partners, but also to be found if you register and post your interest in this platform. Again, it's free. It's quite easy to do it. And if you have any difficulty, you can contact me. There are other tools to find partners, and we prepared a guide for you, and you will find all of them with this link. Okay. The last information I wanted to share is in Brazil, there are several European Horizon Europe projects, and several of them are led on the Brazilian side by European researchers who are recruited in Brazilian institutions. And among those that you see on the map, several of them are coordinated by French researchers who are working in Brazilian institutions. So if for the French that are listening to us now, if you are looking for partners in Brazil, you can have a look at the French diaspora, because they are a very good asset for you to find partners, and they already usually know the European funding, and they are very much willing to collaborate again with France and Europe, and they will, of course, for sure be very happy to help and join you in the projects. So this is what I wanted to tell you. I'll leave my contact here, so if you have any doubts, you can contact me.
Thank you very much, Charlotte, for this very detailed and interesting presentation. So we are a little bit late compared to the initial planning, but yet I suggest we answer to some questions here in the chat. First question that there are several questions about the calls, CAPES Coffee Cube, and the deadline of these calls. So if the speakers are still here, can you please answer and specify again the date for opening and closure of the CAPES Coffee Cube and USP Coffee Cube programs?
It will be just open in a few weeks. So two candidates, you can have 2 months, I think so, to close until May or June. Campus France will publish and CAPES will publish in some days.
Yes, the new call is expected to be launched in this April for 2 months open.
Okay, thank you very much. So I suppose you will get also all these links from the presentations, right? So I also there were some questions asked in Portuguese. Olá a todos, eu fiquei com uma dúvida sobre a aplicação de postdoc sendo brasileiro. No caso, eu faria essa aplicação no global, certo? Mas isso eu precisaria estar vinculada a uma instituição francesa e brasileira para me candidatar. So I will answer in English if you don't mind. So if you are Brazilian and you plan a postdoc to postdoctoral fellowships, it's so the European fellowship scheme will be more appropriate. So in this case, you need to have just a host institution in France, and you can also plan secondments in Brazil or somewhere else if you want. But if you apply to a global fellowship, in this case, you need to be either EU national or long-term resident. So then there is another question asked in Portuguese. Prezados, agradeço a todos pelas apresentações. Eu gostaria de entender as possibilidades para Marie Curie que envolvam projetos de dimensão mais teórica nas ciências humanas. No entender de vocês, há espaço para esse tipo de projeto. So here I will also answer in English if you don't mind. So indeed, human and social sciences and basic research projects are very welcome and perfectly eligible to apply to Marie Curie program. Someone has a microphone on. Can you please switch it off? Thank you. So one more question in Portuguese. Com relação à MSC, gostaria de saber, por gentileza, se uma proposta rejeitada como uma nota um pouco menor que 7 no Europe Fellowship pode ser enviada novamente, reestruturada num Global Fellowship. Sorry, I just don't understand how you could get the score less than 7. Is it maybe just a mistake that in your question, because the scores are given on 100 scale. So if you have less than 7, it's actually a very, very low score. But anyway, just to explain the rule for reapplication. So if you get, starting from 2026, if you get a score below 80, you cannot reapply next year, unless your project is indeed restructured and, for example, you have a different host institution. In this case, it will not be considered as the same project, and so then you can apply. Or if you were before a European fellowship and then you were recognized and becomes a global fellowship, so it will be also considered as different project so that you can reapply. I continue with the question. So now there was a question in French.
Yeah, maybe Eugenia, maybe if you have 5 minutes to present the French institution and the grants or the program that they have to help in the MSCR program. If you can present it rapidly, and I think we have to stop afterwards.
Okay, just one very last question in French, if you don't mind, Marie-Pierre. Ma question concerne une convention de co-tutelle doctorale déjà en cours entre Unirio au Brésil et Université Marie et Louis Pasteur France dans le domaine des arts danse. Un doctorant brésilien pourrait-il candidater aux bourses Marie Sklodowska-Curie proposées dans ce cadre? Alors, pas tout à fait. Donc, votre doctorant pourrait éventuellement candidater plus tard à une bourse postdoctorale quand il aura soutenu son doctorat, mais il faudra quand même vérifier son éligibilité. Et en revanche, s'il s'agit de candidater à une bourse doctorale, ça ne marche pas en bilatéral. Donc, pour financer les bourses de thèse, vous devez être un consortium de minimum 3 établissements dans 3 pays européens différents, plus des établissements dans un pays Europe si vous souhaitez. Et donc, dans ce cas-là, le consortium va soumettre une proposition à l'appel européen et après, vous pourrez recruter les doctorants. Mais vous ne pouvez pas demander une bourse pour un doctorant déjà pré-identifié. Voilà. Et en revanche, dans le domaine de art danse, il n'y a pas de problème. Donc, tous les domaines sont éligibles au financement dans le cadre de ce programme. Et peut-être juste avant, effectivement, de clôturer cette session, comme le suggère Marie-Pierre, nous avons prévu aussi de présenter rapidement un complément de ce qu'a présenté Charlotte. Donc, il y a effectivement... switch to French. Just to before to close this session, I would like to present just very shortly a few slides here. That will be complementary to what has already been presented by Charlotte. There is this platform, Euraccess, where indeed organizations can publish different hosting offers. And also in France, some universities and research organizations put in place different master classes to attract in advance their potential postdoctoral candidates for. This is meant for postdoctoral fellowships action, and these organizations will pay short visits, short trips to those postdoctoral candidates to come to their organizations and to benefit from coaching and to meet their supervisors. So this allows actually those applicants to get better chances for their projects to be retained. And so here you see these kind of offers for University of Angers to pay 3-day mobilities to Angers to meet the supervisors and to prepare their proposals. The deadline here is 29th of May, and you have all necessary links and contacts in case you are interested, and it's in different areas such as social sciences and humanities, literature, health, mathematics, so you can see it here. So there is also similar initiative by Université Clermont-Auvergne. You will also find all the information in these slides. So the links to apply, the contacts, the deadline here is before 15th of April. And the same way they pay you the short trips to come to the university and to benefit from the on-site training. And finally, also the initiative by Paris 1, Panthéon-Sorbonne, CNRS, and ERD. They also organize on-site masterclass, and the same way they will pay you short trips to benefit from this masterclass planned at the beginning of June. So you will get the slides with all contacts and information about the deadlines of application, and you will also get our presentations that were presented today. So maybe Marie-Pierre, would you like to say a few words before we close this webinar?
Yes, I think we're closing the webinar. I think INRIA as well sent some information about specific programs. I don't know if Claire is around from INRIA, and I'm sure she gave the information in the chat, so that's quite important as well to have the partnership with INRIA. So thanks very much for all this afternoon or in this morning in Brazil. It was a very nice meeting. We will send you all the information with Eugenia and Flavia. Thanks very much for all the representatives, all the speakers, and we hope that we will try to reinforce or to enhance our cooperation between France and Brazil. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Ciao, ciao.